Thank you guys for coming. We are so happy you are here. My name is Marshall, and this is my lovely husband,
Vito. They already know us.
Vito, for those who do not know. Why God removes people from our lives. It's not as easy as it may seem. God removing people from my life. Oh, well, let God do his thing. It's hard when you love that person. It hits differently when the person you love that's close to you.
When you attach to them.
When you're attached to them and they're not attached to you.
No, you've developed this relationship with them and you're thinking that everything is good. And
that thing, you know, they gone.
Yeah. Especially when it's happening on a consistent basis. Sometimes you wonder that, hold on.
Is it me? Is it
I? Am I the common denominator?
Is it I, Lord? I have 7 reasons and a bonus.
Number one.
Purpose. God removes to replace people who can help us fulfill our purpose and not hinder us or hold us back. Many times we are in relationships that we know it is detrimental to our purpose. It's keeping us from where we need to go. It's keeping us from doing what we need to do. Case in point, when I used to work for a nonprofit organization, my purpose was to help people, encourage people, meet their need, help them get to their destination, inspire, motivate, you name it, uplift. That was my job. I was a teacher. I was a counselor. I was a leader. That was my purpose in that job. But then when God moved me to real estate, the path changed, but the purpose remains the same. I'm still helping people, inspiring, counseling, teaching. That remains. Just because you move to a different place, a different job, or a different path doesn't mean your purpose change. You don't have to understand it. You don't even have to like it, but you have to respect it. It's easy for us to say we embrace the move of God, but do we embrace the removal of God?
No. Because you attached to what it is that you was
that
attached
God is
to
removing.
At the time. You don't embrace that. I mean, we can get all deep and holy and do cartwheels and all that, run around the church if you want to, but the bottom line is that when God removes it, you're not happy about it.
No.
Because especially when you convince yourself that it was God, and it probably was God.
Yeah.
Because God does things in seasons, right?
Yeah.
He send things in seasons, and also he send things for a lifetime. From my experience, that no, I'm not happy when God removes certain people because you be thinking that everything is cool. Everything is fine, and then the next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute, why this person, we don't even talk no more? What happened?
Right.
And then you start, I'm normally the person always looking at this the other person's fault.
And it could be yours.
And it's probably 9 times out of 10 is my fault. So I'm always pointing the finger.
Thing that you said, babe, you was talking about how relationships, some of them are for a season, and we have to understand there's a season, there's temporary, and there's permanent. So if we don't embrace those types of relationships, we will find ourselves disappointed, hurt, and all that jazz, because we're human. We want relationships to last forever. What's that song? Make it last forever and ever. Who's saying it?
That's Keith Sweat, baby.
Keith Sweat. You know everybody. Number 2, evolving differently. You ever been in a relationship where you're evolving, they're evolving, but you're evolving in different ways, or you're going in different directions, your mindset, your belief system, a lot of that has changed. As we evolve, we change. You're supposed to change. And when people change, sometimes they change in different ways, not wrong, different. And it may not meet the need that God has for you at that particular moment or season in your life. So many times we're in these relationships and we're trying to hold on to them.
Hold on to it.
But we're evolving differently. And you're wondering why things are not mashing. And you're wondering why there's always some debate or you're bumping heads. And it's like, why is this happening all of a sudden? You could have been great up until the evolving. You could have been great. You could have been Ace Boone Coons. I mean, even in relationships where you feel like it will be forever, it'll be permanent, but you find yourself changing. You find yourself growing spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and they are too, but it's different. Your mindset has changed. It has shifted, and their mindset has shifted, but it's shifting in different directions or on different levels. God will make space and he'll make room for a new person to come in who's evolving on the same level and going the same direction as you. And that's why he has to remove to replace, right?
I don't need that now. It's good.
Number 3, unequally yoked, being incompatible and no longer serves you on a spiritual or emotional level. When God removes someone from your life, it's often out of love and protection. God knows the impact that certain relationships may have on your spiritual growth, on your spiritual well-being, and he may remove them to prevent spiritual stagnation or spiritual derailment from his plan. So, you know how sometimes we always, even in relationships, we say just because someone's saved doesn't mean you're supposed to be connected to another saved person. You can still in the spirit be unequally yoked to that person if you're not on that spiritual level where you're supporting each other. We have to remember that in relationships, iron sharpens iron. And if you're always giving, and they're always taking, you're always pouring out and they're always receiving it in, that's a one-way street. That is not healthy. We're going to talk about healthy and unhealthy relationships later on, but it has to be iron sharpens iron. My friendships, my relationships, I can say, thank God, that's what it is. In a relationship that's not in that iron sharpens iron, I can see God removing them from my life. I'm okay with that. I have become okay with that, especially when I see it in the spirit, or if I can't call you and get spiritual insight from you, if I can't call you and you can pray and like, you know what, this is God and you're not in the flesh, something's not right. That's not, you want a balanced relationship. You want the one you can have fun and hang out with them, chit chat and all that jazz. But when the rubber meets the road and you need someone to pray with you, you need someone to give you spiritual insight, you want to be able to call that person. And if you can't, then you have to ask yourself, why are you in that relationship? Why are you attached to that person? People are in your life. They're in your life for a reason. And everyone has their own motives and intentions and agendas. When you're a child of God, he will reveal those agendas to you. It's up to us to make sure that we take heed. And that's why it is so important not to attach yourself so quickly. I don't use the word friend lightly because everyone that you may think is a friend may not be a friend to you. So we have to be very careful how we go and, use that F word, because that F word can get us in trouble. Friend is something that's very sacred to me. Friend is a divine connection from God to me, in my opinion. And so when someone tells me they're my friend, I'm very skeptical. Are you really? Because people will show you who they are. And when they do, believe them. So if it doesn't draw you closer to God and it drives you away from God, let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Hey, what you want to add? You're not adding anything today?
I'm just kind of basing in the moment here.
Number 4, negative influencers.
All right. Okay.
When a person is spiritual weak or always operating in the negative.
Yes, negative.
Unfortunately,
the negative.
It could impact you negatively.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the illustration of a person on the chair? And we would do it, but he might break my chair. And you see a person on the chair and you see a person on the ground. And that person trying to pull you up, it's difficult to pull someone up. But if I was on the ground and Vito was in the chair, it's easier for me to what? Pull him down. And that's what negativity will do. It will stunt your growth in God. Because remember, when you're around negativity, you start thinking negatively. You start speaking it. And when you do that, you start attracting it. Negative attracts negative. Positive attracts positive.
It is true.
Influencing in a negative sense could cause you to do things you're not supposed to do. And then you're around negativity, then you become that person. you become the negative person in that relationship. Or if you have someone in the relationship around you, it starts to impact you whether you know it or not. And most times people will see it before you see it, right?
When you self-examine yourself, a lot of us, we indulge in sometimes negativity, and that negativity it may not start off as being something that can be affecting your mood or affecting the atmosphere that you're in. It can just be a general conversation that you bring up.
Yeah.
Start to kind of indulge in it,
entertain it.
You entertain it, of course, and the next thing you know, something negative starts to happen in your life, and then now you start talking about it more. Because now it's growing, now it's being fed. So negativity is always around us. So negativity can affect everything.
So
it can affect your relationship with God. It can affect your faith, and that's when it starts to become deep within, rooted in them, because now they start to live in negativity.
Right.
Not only are they speaking about negativity, and it's always something negative, there's nothing positive. Those are the people that you definitely want to stay away from. That's it.
That's it. Number 5, distraction, keeping you from doing what you should be doing. So the last one was keeping you from what you shouldn't be doing. This one is keeping you from what you should be doing. You will consult them before you consult God. You will seek their approval before you seek God's approval. And we have to understand that God is a jealous God.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want anybody before him or anything.
He mean that thing.
And so when there's a relationship that you will go to first before you go to him, there's a problem. Your relationship should be confirmation of what God has already been dealing with you about. It shouldn't be, okay, should I do this? Let me go call my friend. Oh, let me see if my boyfriend, see if is he okay with this? No, is God okay with this? Did God tell you to do this? So when we're finding ourselves putting relationships before God, and you're wondering why God is removing them, maybe that's why. We respect them so much, but we can put people on a pedestal and we can make people our little G gods. I know what I'm talking about. I've done it. Been there, done that.
I've done it too.
Even when it comes to what is God saying to me? God, if I have a relationship with you, why do I need a middleman? A middleman can confirm what you said, but for me to say, you know what, I'm not going to consult God, I'm going to consult this person, that's where we have a problem. And it becomes a distraction in our walk with God.
I don't think how people realize how deep that is when you're talking about God as a jealous God.
Just imagine me getting jealous if I see you talking to another woman, or if you was jealous. Even the reaction that we get as humans.
Just imagine God.
Imagine God. And he has the power to do whatever.
Right.
And seeing you put somebody else before him.
Well, that still falls up under the commandment. Thou shalt not have no other God before me.
Right.
For I am a jealous God. He put that in there for a reason. And a lot of times we don't realize that we have made people our gods. We have made certain things our God.
Yep.
We have made the people who we are in relationship with our gods.
Exactly.
We have to go back, and again, I must continue to stress this. We have to go back to self-examine our motives and what we're doing.
Number 6, the relationship is toxic and unhealthy, abusive, verbally, mentally, emotionally, physically, controlling, manipulative. You've been in that relationship where you've ever felt like if you don't do it their way, all hell breaks loose. They have to have it their way, or they will manipulate you to do what they want you to do. That's very unhealthy. It's toxic. You ever have relationships where if you don't talk to that person, oh my God, they'll go crazy. They're mad with you. They have an attitude with you. I'm too grown for that. I'm a grown behind woman. You mad with me? When I have a family and I have all these things going on, I love low maintenance relationships. And that's what I have. I have a young lady right now, love her to life. We hadn't spoke maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe, babe, longer than that.
I think it was probably longer than that.
And I was in the hospital. She found out about it and she called me. And it's like we've never missed a beat. It's as if we just started where we stopped. And those are the type of relationships you want. Those are healthy relationships.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing, they're doing their thing. And then when God decides to bring you guys together, it's as if nothing happened. There's no beef. There's no drama. I had a high maintenance relationship. And I'm trying to be cute, y'all. I can't even see y'all. Trying to be cute. There we go. If there's stress, depression, anxiety, let it go. It's not worth your mental health. Let it go.
What if I am so convinced that God put that relationship together that I'd be willing to overlook all of that stuff?
Well, then you made a choice to overlook all that stuff. God gives us red flags, and we have to make the choice to either take heed or ignore them.
But I'm lonely.
And that's the kicker. That's the key. When people are lonely, they will settle for anything. Even when it comes to relationships, friendships, situationships. Because they're lonely, they have convinced themselves this is God, and I'll take the stress and the mess any day of the week. I ain't gonna do it. I'm just gonna be by myself. I love my peace too much. I'm going too fast.
Go ahead.
Number 7.
We're
We're almost there, y'all. Number 8 will be the bonus. Number 7, fleshly connections.
Oh,
We have the tendencies as humanoids to connect ourselves with people that God never intended us to connect ourselves with.
so why do we do it?
Like you say, we get lonely.
Yes.
We feel like they can meet a need.
Yes.
We
You
have
want somebody to talk to?
Yes, confide in, talk to, share our ideas. Even at times, like you said, we would even convince ourselves this got to be God. No, maybe it's you. Maybe it's you that's connecting you to someone God didn't tell you to connect you to.
Yes.
So
makes sense,
we
makes
have to
sense.
make sure it's God's divine connections. Those are the ones that brings him glory. Those are the relationships that will fulfill your purpose, that will meet your need, not just on their end, but on your end as well. So we have to be very careful not to sort out these type of relationships ourselves without the guidance of the Holy Spirit. I was in a relationship back when, and I truly thought this
Better been before 2009
before 2009
and 8.
and 8. And it was a relationship with a guy, and
Better not be a woman.
I thought, you know what, he's a good guy. And for those who don't know my saying, let me tell you my saying.
What's you saying?
Just because it's a good thing,
Don't make it a God.
don't make it a God thing.
All right. now.
He was a good man. He was all that in a bag of chips. And I was like, oh,
What kind of chips?
the barbecue spicy
Okay.
ones. The barbecue spicy ones.
Those are some good chips.
As my relationship with God grew
Uh-huh.
at that time, I realized, this isn't for me. Even relationships where I thought it was God at the time, and it could have been, but the seasons changed, the seasons shift. So now I just let God do what God wants to do, and I don't do anything. But I know when God does it, he's going to do it right, where we can just go our separate ways and be okay. Go ahead, baby.
Did you recognize that immediately, or did it take you some time? What happened that caused you to say, you know what, this ain't God?
The relationship I'm talking about with the young lady, and I wrote her a letter, I realized she was entertaining my sins because she was in the same sin.
What do you mean?
So at the time, I was dating a married man and did not know he was married. He lied to a sister. He lied to me, y'all. He lied. But thank God for healing.
Yes, thank God.
She was also dating a married man.
Okay.
So the counsel I was getting from her would be from someone who's doing the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
She's not telling me this is not God. She's not telling me, Marshall, don't go that route. There's consequences. That's not what I was getting from her. Those relationships were connected in the flesh. Why? Because we were in the flesh. You know how people say, I love God, but I have this stronghold. When this situation started, I had religion. I didn't have a relationship. Relationship with God caused me to break those relationships that I knew were not for me. The guy relationship, the platonic relationships, even relatives and family members. I had to break those relationships when my relationship with God shifted.
Yeah.
When you're in religion, you can do what you want to do,
Yeah.
repent, and call it a day. But when you have a relationship with God, that's different. That conviction hits you different. We're talking about relationship with God, that's intimacy. We have to also remember, too, that God hears what people are saying about you behind your back.
Yeah.
So we
That's
may
true.
not see
Yeah.
what they're doing
Right.
in our face,
But their actions will
but
show.
their actions
will show whether
will
or not
speak
they-
louder than words. And so
Absolutely.
we cannot always think, God, why did you remove them? They were such a good person. Again, just because it's good, don't make it God. So you have to be very careful when you're trying to hold on to relationships that God has allowed
Yeah.
to move out of your life. It is okay to let them go. I had a tendency of
Oh my
trying to
gosh.
hold on to relationships and
Yeah.
and nurture them and pray for them. And I do pray for them, but I pray for them now from a distance.
Yeah.
And I realize just because you are relatives, it doesn't make you family. Just because it's good doesn't mean it's God. And there are seasonals when it comes to some of these relationships. I have a small core of friends that I know will be there through thick and thin, and they know who they are. Those types of relationships are hard to come by, very far and in between. But when you get them, you better hold on to them, baby, because they don't come that often. People always have motives. They're jealous. They have their agendas.
Yeah.
They're not there for you,
Nope.
even though they say they are.
Yeah,
They're
right,
not.
right.
And their actions will speak louder than words. We're not saying be in a relationship that's perfect. You're never going to have a perfect relationship with anybody. But at least it should be a relationship where it's healthy enough where you can communicate, where you can confide in, where you can say, you know what, you hurt my feelings in this area. And then the other person don't get so mad with you where they just shut you out of their life. If they do that, let them go. It's okay. They're showing you who they are. Bonus number 8. Y'all not gonna like this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You could be the toxic person that God removes from their life.
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways. Many of times we think it's God removing them out of our life. We could be removed also out of their life.
That's right.
We could be the one that's bringing the negative mindset. We could be the one that's bringing the influences. Sorry. We could be the one that could be unhealthy and toxic. We could be the one that's leading people off the path. We could be the one that's their little G God. We could be the one that's causing that person to go astray and not intentionally know it.
Whosoever causes the righteous to go astray, he too himself shall fall into a ditch.
So we have to check ourselves to make sure it's not the us that God is removing. And if it is, guess what? If God did it, it's still okay.
You ever thought about that I'm removing them out of your life because of you? It has nothing to do with them. I'm removing them out of your life to get you right.
Ouch. So just make sure you understand you have to examine yourself. That's number 8, because you could definitely be the person that God is removing from somebody's life and not the other way around. So how do you know when it is God? How do you know it's a relationship that God has put together, that God has connected? When do you know it's God? When there's a sense of peace.
And what kind of peace is that,
there's
though?
a sense of when the load has been lifted off you. There's no more stress.
Can you feel
There's
it?
no more anxiety.
Okay.
There's no more fear. There's no more controlling.
Okay.
There's no more drama. There's all positivity. When I call my girls up, I know it's going to be pleasant. I know it's going to be godly. I know it's going to be something that's going to fulfill me emotionally, spiritually, mentally. We're there to uplift each other. I don't have a whole bunch of friends. And so, but when I'm going through something or when I just need to talk to them or if God lays it on my heart and we talk, I know it's going to be fulfilling. There's no negativity. God knows what you need. God knows what they need. And that's what you need to make sure. If that relationship is not bringing you the peace of God, let it go. If it's bringing you stress and anxiety, let it go.
Yeah.
If it's controlling, manipulative, and you can't be yourself, let it go. If it's a weight on you, just hearing their name, let it go. If you sense jealousy and God has showed you the red signs, let it go. And I can go through everything. If it's not healthy, let it go. If it's toxic, let it go. If it's not helping you develop your relationship with God, let it go. And I know when it's hard and it hits differently when it's someone that you love, when it's someone that you did not expect God to remove. When you expect them to be there for you through thick and thin, permanently for the rest of your life, and then God just say, you don't really know the why. And you may not ever know the why, but just know it was God. It doesn't feel good all the time. It hurts. And it was even the time when there was a relationship recently, and I was like, why? And my husband, he was like, babe, I just don't want you to become bitter, because it could make you bitter and not better when a relationship disappoints you.
Yeah.
Because what's for you is for you. You don't have to force entry anything, not even a relationship. Relationships should not be hard.
It should.
We have convinced ourselves, religion has told us, oh, we got to work it. It's got to be hard. No, you don't.
No, that's only if you're doing it on your own.
Thank you. When it's God, those doors will open, relationships will flourish, they will develop, they will fulfill your purpose, they will fulfill your need. Iron sharpens iron, peace, no drama. All of these things brings him glory.
Yeah.
He wants to have the glory in your relationships, with your family, with your friends. If he's not getting the glory and you're getting it or they're getting it,
who's that relationship benefiting?
Is it selfish?
Yeah.
A lot of times we're in selfish relationships. It's all about me and what I'm getting out of it and what I can do, what I can't do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you from experience, let it go. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to go to Spotify. We have the Process Life podcast. And so if you have not checked out our podcast, please do that. It is up and running. If you have Spotify, if you don't have Spotify, it's free to subscribe. It's also free to subscribe to this channel. We want as many people to start seeing our videos. And in order for them to do that, you have to hit the like button. You have to comment below. You have to comment in the chat, because that's the way the algorithm works. All right.
The algorithm works.
Yes. And also we have been doing coaching sessions, which we also love. So if you're interested in our coaching sessions, go to theprocesslife.com. That is theprocesslife.com. If you're interested in our journals, theprocesslife.com/journals or shop. All right. And do your shopping at The Process Life. We love you so much. Mwah. Babe, anything you want to add?
No, I just want to tell everybody thank you. Thank you for the prayers.
Love you guys. Be blessed. And until next time, we will see you again. Mwah.